Okay, so today on our Cops and Robbers segment, we're going to be looking at hacking to protect and protecting against hackers. So, Shayna, why don't you jumpstart that conversation?
Sure, yeah. This week for me was actually all about hacking. Hacking is basically solving a puzzle, but with computers and sometimes not so obvious solutions. And it also involves a bit of breaking things to some degree, but more in the sense that you break it down so you can figure out how it works. And so you can kind of do something called reverse engineering and kind of build a solution off of what you've discovered by breaking something down, which I've always thought was a really cool concept. So I would say there were probably two major things that happened for me this week. The first was it was taking a product security case off of the hands of one of my coworkers who will be leaving soon. And so in that, uh, someone reported that there was a particular vulnerability in one of McAfee's products on the consumer side of things. So like your average like McAfee security client user. And basically what someone could do if they exploited that particular vulnerability was that they could essentially control the user's computer. So if someone had that software installed, if like an adversary or like a bad guy managed to find a way into that computer through the McAfee software, then they could essentially take control of that user's computer, which is really bad. So I'm working with the engineering team on that just to make sure that that's an actual threat. And then if it once we've deemed it to be an actual threat, then we can take the steps to resolve it, to like patch it up and roll it out in the next wave of McAfee updates. And then I guess the next thing was so my coworker and I, we were tasked with hacking into a couple of servers for another employee of McAfee. So that was kind of daunting because a common, I want to say, phrase in like the cybersecurity community as it pertains to like hacking and stuff is make sure you have permission, because otherwise people think you are an actual threat and they will basically whip out all the defenses trying to stop you from doing whatever you're trying to do, whether it may be a somewhat innocent scan, but they don't know that. So they're just going to try and like track you down and all that. But basically what we had to do was we had to use a tool called Metasploit, which is basically a toolbox of like hacking tools that we can use to try and break into these servers. So in breaking into these servers, we can determine like any vulnerabilities or like points of weaknesses in those servers before the bad guys do. So we can like repair them. So kind of like what I'm doing with the product security case.
And here is Dan talking about innovation without fear.
How are we? Nice to meet everyone. My name is Dan, and I'm here to talk about innovation without fear, and not fear without innovation. Now, what I liked about McAfee's culture from the get-go is that I was told to be free and find problems. They said, do what you need to do, but do something. Find a problem and fix it. And I went out on my own accord and completed a list of best SEO practices. While doing that, I found this hidden thing called the spam score that wasn't really talked about by the digital marketing department, right? And my overall job and purpose is to help better the SEO standing of the support team. So I realized that no one's really talking about this, but our spam score is much higher than our competitions, right? This all stemmed from a competitive analysis. I'm talking about Norton, Kaspersky, et cetera, et cetera. All their spam scores are great. right? Except for ours. Ours was just bigger by a margin. And I realized, I contacted my manager, I was like, why is no one talking about this? And I didn't expect it, but my manager was actually really happy. Like, he genuinely, they were all, like, the whole team was very welcoming towards my, like, decision to find it. They supported me. They actually started helping me with my research towards the spam score. And next thing you know, all of us are, happily compiling PowerPoint statements, having meetings, conference calls for hours upon hours, just reviewing our digital SEO and talking about the spam score. And then Calvin, great guy who works with me, he was presenting the spam score analysis in front of 2 VPs today, as far as I know. What he presented, did a great job, killed it, great guy. But yeah, no, just goes to show that the culture at McAfee is right. They push you to really expand upon your own parameters of knowledge. You learn about things as you go. They don't tell you what to do exactly. They say, do this, but be free to learn more about it. And the thing I love about McAfee's most is that I am more than welcome to go on any tangent I like, as long as it relates to the subject. It's not about, especially doing one certain thing after another. It's not what I expected at all. It's honestly more of like a startup-y vibe. Your smaller business is like a family. And family sticks for each other. They push each other. And thanks to that, I was able to comfortably find this and comfortably present it to the team.
But on my end, I actually have been ramping up, kind of doing more calls and such, setting some opportunities being people who I've called who expressed interest in our product and wanted to continue the conversation. One person that I had called actually was really, really interesting to speak to, because I'm a big believer in knowing why I do something, especially in the sales realm. That's where a lot of motivation comes from for me, is I get to have this conversation with these people who have some sort of issue, and I get to connect them with a proper solution. I get to help these people out. I'm definitely a people person, so that motivates me, that drives me. And to have had this experience, I called on this gentleman, and he had told me his Google accounts had been hacked, but his credit card information had also been released. He had been notified by the McAfee team, but not prior to all of his packages for the past 2 to 3 months being intercepted. So, I mean, this poor guy's life is in shambles, from his credit cards to his packages to all of his information within his company as well. I mean, to be able to assist somebody with that, and you should have heard him. I mean, I could hear him pacing back and forth over the phone, to have that kind of ability to help a customer in that way, it warms my heart. It definitely shows me motivation. I think I mentioned in a prior video, prior vlog segment, Simon Sinek's Why video. And that really resonated with me early on, and to have had this kind of early on experience of this is why I am doing what I'm doing is very, very valuable to my career at McAfee. But, on that note, we're actually celebrating. We are celebrating our month anniversary today. Congratulations, Shayna, on that.
Yeah, congratulations to you too.
Thank you so much. And, next week, we're actually looking forward to covering a couple of discussions that we've had this week that were very, very, very important, touching base on diversity and inclusion. And we actually have several people who are going to be either quoted or presenting. So I hope you tune in for that very special segment with us. Thank you.